still not sure when we're going to see Zion Williamson this season. Haven't talked about him in a while. The Pelicans star had off-season foot surgery, which has sidelined him for camp and the preseason. Initially, the hope was he'd be back for the opener, but according to The Athletic, that's now up in the air. It's uncertain. So, Broussard, your level of concern for Zion is blank.
It's high, Jenna. It is high. This is not the first time that the Pelicans have underestimated one of Zion's injuries and given us an inaccurate timetable. You mentioned on Media Day this year, just a couple weeks ago, David Griffin, the GM, talked about Zion's injury, said he had surgery, which nobody knew about, and then said he'd be ready for the opener. Well, here we are a few days away from the opener on October 20th, and Zion is not yet running. Zion is not working in 5-on-5 drills or scrimmaging with his team. He's doing none of that. So it is a stretch to think he's going to be ready for the opener. You remember before his rookie season, David Griffin said Zion would be back in 6 to 8 weeks. This is in the preseason training camp. Well, it was 3 months before Zion made his debut, and then he played like 24 games. What scares me is not even just Zion missing a few weeks, the first few weeks of the season, if it comes to that. It's that, unfortunately, at least to this point, he may just be injury prone. And when you're 6'7", 285 pounds, playing with more torque and explosion than anyone in the league, that is something that you have to wonder about and worry about. And at Duke, he hurt his knee. He played the 24 games, as I mentioned, as a rookie. He played 61 games his second year. He got injured in Summer League. And here he is again in an injury he suffered in the offseason. So these are the reasons why my concern level, Nick, is very high on Zion.
Yeah, my level of concern is simmering. It's not quite as high as Broussard's, but it's higher than mine has been in the past. I never bought into the whole, Zion's going to go to New Orleans and get fat, all those beignets and the great food, and what about his weight? The guy is a 100 out of 100 athlete. And guys always get in better shape as their NBA careers go on, or nearly always. So that I wasn't worried about. But the injury stuff is concerning, which is why this is so disappointing. I don't know if people remember or paid attention. What Zion did last year was wholly unprecedented. Not for a second-year player or a guy under 20. For any player ever, it was the most points per game anyone has ever averaged most points per game anyone's ever averaged on at least 60% shooting. He was 27 per game on 61% from the field. No one has done it, ever. Not Shaq, not McHale's great year, nobody. And he was doing it on a bad team where everyone knew what they were trying to do and they could not stop it. Wilds. I'm working on, to debut next week, a little next week tease, the player pyramid. And we know the top 12 guys in the league, everyone agrees on who they are. We might argue about the order. But then once you get like 13 to 20, there's a lot of discussion. Zion is really like pounding on the door of a top 15 player. The only thing that's going to stop it is the injury. And so it is concerning, upsetting, because I want him to be healthy. So he's played 85 career games, including his rookie year, 85 career games. He's 26 a night on 60%. We've never seen something like it. I hope we get to see more of it.
Okay, I don't think the only thing that can stop him is injury. I'll add coaching, leadership, and overall direction of the franchise in New Orleans. So here's the thing. No one has ever turned down the rookie extension in the history of the NBA. Someone eventually will, and I bet it's Zion. Oh, Wilds, it's so much money. Oh, you don't think if he went to a big market like New York City, they could find a way to make up that money rather than being a top 15 guy? All of a sudden he becomes a top 5 guy, marquee games all the time in the biggest, best city in America? I think he could. Let's take a quick review. And if you disagree, tell me what's gone right in New Orleans. Just name one thing that has gone right. Let's look at the recent offseason. This was the press conference that he got. Hey, welcome everybody. Pelicans offseason. Steven Adams is gone. Lonzo's gone. Eric Bledsoe's gone. We fired Stan Van Gundy. And Zion had a surgery they didn't really tell us about. What? Yep, see you later. Okay. Next thing that comes out. Hey, here's a big article on David Griffin that was supposed to be the big savior coming from Cleveland. Well, he's not connecting with any of the players. He can't make the right decisions coaching-wise. And he played the piano for Zion to try to relate to him. Zion now has turned that down. He's like, I didn't have a guy play the piano for me. Thirdly, Zion can't run, as Broussard said. He's on his third coach in 3 years with a middling team watching Anthony Davis go to a historic franchise and thrive. So I would not be surprised, Jenna, if I'm not saying early in the season, but I bet late in the season you go to that same store that Anthony Davis got his "That's All Folks" shirt and be like, I don't know, just like AD, I don't know what it is, just a shirt. I picked it out for the game, and I bet I could see him turning down his rookie extension, first time ever.
Wilds, do you know what you just did? Do you know the
Let's
type
hear
of
it.
fire you have just lit in New York City? Oh yeah, there were rumblings
gonna happen,
about it. There were flames coming this way and that way. You just lit the fire. Oh, first they were getting LeBron.
But he put it out.
How'd that work out? Then they were getting Kevin Durant. How'd that work out? Then they were getting Chris Paul. How'd that work out? Now they're getting Zion. Says
Julius
Kevin
Randle. Hold on. Broussard, he did light the fire, but then Wilds, because he's responsible, he put it out. Because at the end he said Anthony Davis went to a historic franchise. There ain't one of those in New York. Ain't won a title since 73, buddy.
You know what?
We're going on 50 years.
Why don't you move?
We're going on 50 years.
They're
no, I like
historic
it here.
in that
Call
they're
your landlord.
old.
I like,
Be out.
I
They're
like
historic.
it. Why
They
don't you
are
move
historic.
here?
Well-
Wild's up there in Schenectady talking about how much he loves New York City.
dog needs
Why
more
don't you
room to
move
run.
here,
He gets
buddy?
more and more north. He goes further north.
They are historic.
Here's how this will go.
Historically mediocre.
Zion's supposed
bad.
to undergo some scam.